Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andrew Kobos. I'm the principal attorney at the Kobos Law Firm. This is Kiana Zermeno, an associate at the Kobos Law Firm. Collectively, we represent 82 women who have filed civil claims in the biggest sexual assault case in the history of the United States military. Earlier today, we filed a petition and intervention where we are asserting claims against Dr. Blaine McGraw. Y'all have read the original complaint. You've seen that petition, and we've provided you copies of the latest petition. Like I said, this is the largest sexual assault case in the history of the United States military. It's not just here at Fort Hood. We know that this happened in Hawaii. Maybe it happened at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Right now, the Army is investigating and discovering the breadth of how widespread this sexual assault case actually is. We know that it affected all 4 branches of the United States military. We know that it affected soldiers who were stationed here and stationed overseas. We know that soldiers are called back from deployments to be able to address the mental health of the women in their lives, wives and daughters. We know that this affected and involved multiple chains of command, multiple leaders at every level, and it, most importantly, affected thousands and thousands of women, many who stand here united with us today. And sadly, these numbers will grow. How do we know that these numbers will grow? We're getting calls every single day from witnesses, calls from women who have been impacted. We know that there are other law firms out there. We support those law firms, and collectively we represent over 100 women that attorneys are bringing these claims against, or for, against the Army and against Dr. Blaine McGraw. We know those numbers will grow. Dr. McGraw now sits in prison. He's in pre-trial confinement. That's right. Dr. McGraw is not walking around Walmart today. He's not checking in with his command via telephone every 2 hours like he was a week ago. He's in jail, in pre-trial confinement, and that's where he should be. We also know that charges against Dr. Blaine McGraw were preferred yesterday by Army prosecutors. For that, we say thank you to the Army for taking the proactive measures in prosecuting a perpetrator of thousands potential women and victims in this case. We know what happened. We know who it happened to, and we know when it happened. We even know how it happened. But the question that we're here to address today is, why did this happen? And that is a question that every leader in the United States military should be asking themselves right now. Why did this happen? Let me tell you my thoughts, my opinions about why and how this happened. This happened because when women walk into an OB-GYN examination room, they are at a disadvantage. Many of the women that we represent are privates and specialists in the Army. Here on the other side of that examination table, you have a major in the United States Army. These privates, these specialists, they're taught to follow orders, to listen to doctors. They're at a power disadvantage the second that they walk into a room alone with a United States military officer without a chaperone present. And that's one of the foundational issues of this case. There's no chaperones. And there were no chaperones present during these examinations. We know that a power disadvantage exists there in the rank structure. A power disadvantage exists in the fact that you have a male alone in a room with a female conducting a sensitive examination. Not only is this male an officer in the Army, he's wearing a white coat. He's wearing a physician's coat. He has specialized knowledge that these women who are being examined don't have. They're at a power disadvantage. And almost to a T, every story that we hear involves an examination in which a chaperone wasn't present. The Army needs to sit up and take recognition of this power disadvantage that they're putting lower enlisted soldiers in every time they enter an examination room. Isn't that right? And they have to change. We represent 82 women, and Kiana and I were on the phone the other day with one of these women. She's a rape survivor. Right over there, right over in Fort Hood, in the motor pool, she was raped by another soldier. She reported it. Choke marks on her neck, and they sent her to Darnall Hospital to be seen so that a rape examination could be performed on her. She went into that examination room 3 months out of AIT, a PV2, 19 years old, not much more than a girl. She goes into that examination room with Dr. McGraw alone, no chaperone. He puts her on the bench and starts the examination of her most sensitive areas, and he pulls out his cell phone. And he's sitting on his cell phone during a rape examination. This woman doesn't know the procedures for a rape examination. Her world has just been turned upside down. Why was she allowed to be in a room alone with a field grade officer conducting a rape examination when he has his phone out? There's so many women across the country who don't know whether or not sensitive photographs of themselves exist on Dr. McGraw's phone. These are the type of policies that can change, and these are the type of policies that should change. I'm calling on the U.S. Army, on behalf of the women that we represent, on behalf of the women who have been abused, not only by Dr. McGraw, but across the country and across the Army. I'm calling on Congress to pass legislation that a chaperone is mandatory in every OB-GYN examination. That's a common sense reform. That is a policy that should have happened after the Michael Stockton case up in Joint Base Lewis McChord, when over 40 men were sexually assaulted by their doctor. Why did the Army not sit up at that point and say chaperones are mandatory? And so we have this 1 year later, where thousands of women potentially are abused. And if the Army doesn't sit up and take notice and change that policy, then we're going to be here next year and the year after that. Because unless leadership recognizes that change needs to happen, then change never happens. And that's why we're here, right?
Enough is enough.
We don't want more Stockton cases. We don't want more McGraw cases. We want real change. We want real legislation. This is an issue that should be bipartisan. Every representative, every senator should take the side of these women, demand a full investigation, demand accountability, and demand answers. We've not gotten answers so far. We don't have answers from the Army about what happened in this case. Hell, we don't even know what steps they're taking to identify the deficiencies that the Army has that contributed to this in the first place. We know there's a criminal investigation going on. The Army has been very clear about that. There is a criminal investigation. But what is the Army doing to fix these dynamics within the chain of command? What are they doing? That's a question that every senator should be asking. I wanted to know that answer. I had that question. I wanted to know that answer. And so last week I drafted a letter and I sent it to the Undersecretary of the Army, Undersecretary Obidal. Y'all have a copy of that letter in your possession. I asked Undersecretary Obidal to come down here to Fort Hood and to meet in private with 5 of the women who were victimized by Dr. Blaine McGraw. And listen, hear their stories. Listen to what they have to say, and listen to what can be done to fix the problem. I got a response letter. It wasn't from the undersecretary. It got pushed down the chain of command. I got a response. It was a colonel, not a commander. And it said what you would expect it to say if you had typed in, write a response into ChatGPT. It said exactly that. It said, we take this very seriously. We take sexual assault very seriously. We can't meet with the victims because there is an ongoing investigation. Are you kidding me? You can't meet and listen to the victims because there is an ongoing investigation? All we're asking Army senior leadership to do is to listen. We don't need conclusions at this point. We just need to know that you're taking action and that reform will happen, right?
Yeah.
This situation has done irreparable harm to the United States military, to the Army, and the time for action is now. These women aren't here because they want platitudes. These women are here because they want real change. We're here at the Vanessa Guillen Memorial. This is a site that is symbolic. It's no accident that we're having this press conference here. If you remember back in 2020, Vanessa Guillen was sexually assaulted and tragically murdered right here at Fort Hood. The Army conducted an investigation. They came up with a 273-page report. And if you look at that report and you go line by line, you'll see that many of the same infractions that were discovered in the Vanessa Guillen report occurred here, in this case. The Army renamed that gate right across the way, the Vanessa Guillen Gate. If you're looking for symbolism, look no further than the Vanessa Guillen Gate. It is closed. It is closed to traffic. You can't get in and out of post using the Vanessa Guillen Gate. Those are the type of things that are platitudes. But what we want are real change. And we appreciate the Army sitting up and taking notice and changing the name of gates. But what these women need is accountability. They need reform. They need legislation that says that they're not going to be exposed to doctors who are going to take advantage of them when they're alone in an examination room. We're here and we stand united. We have partners that we're here with that you're going to hear from in just a minute. But before I turn this microphone over, I want to call again on Congress. I want to call on Senator Ted Cruz. I want to call on Senator Cornyn. Use your platform, senators. Use your platform to conduct a thorough investigation and ensure that the Army remains accountable to these women here. There's so many senators here who can make a difference. One of them, Senator Rand Paul, is an OB-GYN. Senator Paul, I want you to ask yourself, I want you to answer to these women, is that something that as a private practice OB-GYN you would allow at your clinic? For there not to be a chaperone when they're at their most vulnerable state? The answer is unequivocally no. That's the reform that needs to happen in this case. One of the allies that we stand with today is the Congressional Women's Caucus. And they were kind enough to write a letter in support of these women and in support of these cause. And we have an excerpt from that letter that Kiana is going to read to you today. Kiana.
Thank you. The fact that this reported abuse occurred at the same base as Specialist Guillen's murder is appalling. All women should feel safe on military bases, and they surely should be able to safely seek treatment without fear of sexual abuse.
Thank you to the Democrat Women's Caucus. We hope to hear from the Republican Women's Caucus and, quite frankly, from every representative and every senator on this issue, because this is an issue that needs to be addressed. And we have other allies that are here with us today. And one of those allies is one of the strongest women that I've been able to meet. She was instrumental in bringing voice and change after the Vanessa Guillen investigation. She's from LULAC. Ana Luisa, would you come up here today and say a few words to this audience?
Good afternoon, buenas tardes. So here we are again, right? And again, we won't stay quiet. And again, we won't stop until we get change. And again, we're standing with our service members that serve honorably. The League of United Latin American Citizens of America is the oldest and largest Latino civil rights organization in the United States and Texas. Founded in 1929, LULAC is a civil rights organization committed to advancing the rights and opportunities of Latinos throughout advocacy, community building, and education. I'm going to tell you that this didn't only just happen to Latinos, it happened to all of our community. If it affected one person, that person is connected to another person and connected to another person. So nothing is going to limit our voice here locally, in the halls of justice, in the halls of Congress. I promise you that. We're going to make change. We're going to stay quiet. We're going to speak it in English, in Espanol. Those who have sign language, let's go. Whatever language you speak, let's speak justice for all. All means all. Not red, not blue, not gray, it's not a rainbow issue. It's a life issue. You sign on the dotted line to serve honorably, then you deserve every single service to be there, to get the best quality of service, medical, anything that has to do with you, you need to have the best. Did these victims get the best? Absolutely not. They got the worst. He had a license to practice. He had a license to be trusted, and he mangled that trust. So we stand here today, unidos. Learn that word. Unidos means united. Ladies, some of you have those shirts. Unidos for justice. We're united for justice. Your last name can be Gonzalez, Rodriguez, Brown, Jackson. It don't matter. We're going to be united in this, and we're not going to stay quiet. If you stay quiet now. LULAC Herencia Council 4297 in District 17 stands with the brave women at Fort Hood who have suffered grievously at Darnell Army Medical Center. The failures to ensure that its medical policies and practices were properly enforced here are unacceptable. This was a betrayal not only of patients, but of trust, dignity, and the basic duty of care owed to every soldier and every human being. The lack of accountability does real harm. It endangers patient care. It breaks the bond of trust with military families and threatens the strength of our force. We're as strong as our strongest and weak as our weakest. Is this correct? Our service women, military spouses, and families deserve oversight, transparency, and an unwavering commitment to quality medical care in every military medical facility. Whether you're in the continental United States, if you're in Germany, in your Korea, wherever you happen to be, you need to have the utmost and the best medical care, because you are the force that protects this great nation, the United States of America. We will not relent, because every woman at Fort Hood, every patient in the military health system deserves nothing less than our full solidarity and fight for dignity, safety, and respect. May those harmed find strength in our support, and may the system finally change to honor the women who serve our country. LULAC Herencia 4297 in District 17 stand ready to work with Fort Hood leadership and the Army and any military branch. I'm adding that. Any military branch. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm angry. Forgive me. To ensure this never happens again. The Congressional Armed Service Committees will be formally asked to review this healthcare incident to ensure the victims receive justice and all those accused are held accountable. Every person that had anything to do with this, you failed to report it, you didn't see the importance of it, you thought it was going to go away on its own, you're part of the problem. You are part of the problem. That voice for that patient, for that victim, I hate that word victim, because you know what? Through justice, they will be victorious. They will have that justice. And when they say justice for all, we say justice for all. They will receive justice and everybody will be held accountable, starting from the lowest enlisted to the highest. It doesn't matter. Justice, do a sweep throughout. Keep this from happening again. Give the security and the service that our service members deserve. They deserve our best. No less. No less. May God bless the victims. Not only they're victims, you can say it can be up to 1,500. Multiply that by an average of 5 people attached to that person. And multiply that by that neighborhood. Multiply it. And you know what it does? It comes right back to, starts here with us. It goes all the way to the White House. From the White House, it comes right back to us. So let's take care of this community. Let's take care of service members. Let's take care of our nation. The Lord bless the victims, the families, Fort Hood, and all who serve honorably. Hang on that. Honorably. LULAC and the United States of America. We thank you for your time, not only showing up today. Put your pen to the wind. Contact your representatives. Let them not forget that one person, one name changes the whole wave of justice, and we won't stop until we get justice. If you say the same, can we say justice 3 times? Justice, justice, justice. At this time, I'm bringing one of our sisters. I'm Shielded Sisters, Miss Shelley. And thank you for serving honorably.
Good evening. My name is Shelley Hutkins. I'm here representing Shield of Sisters, standing alongside our partners LULAC and Cobos Law Firm. Today, others have spoken about the case, the failures, and the legal path forward, but I want to speak directly to the survivors who are here. We don't call them victims in Shield of Sisters. You survived, and you will continue to survive. And to those who are watching from a distance, military sexual trauma, or MST, is the term that the Department of Veterans Affairs uses to describe sexual assault or repeated threatening sexual harassment experienced by those in the military service. Shield of Sisters would like to see that definition expanded to cover any person who is victimized by a military member, such as those family members and active other members who were traumatized by Dr. McGraw. But MST is more than a definition. It is a wound that changes the way you breathe, the way you trust, and the way you move through the world. It is a burden that no one should ever carry alone. And that is why Shield of Sisters is here. We are here because you deserve to be heard. You deserve to be believed. That is my speech. I'm going to pick it up. You deserve to be supported, not silenced. We've heard stories from McGraw's survivors that they made reports and they were not not believed. They were laughed at, ignored. That's not going to happen with Shield of Sisters. That's not going to happen with Kobos Law Firm. Shield of Sisters, though, is not just an advocacy organization. We are a community of survivors and supporters who walk with you through the hardest part of your healing. We also partner with organizations that help you with other challenges you might face in your healing, such as financial stress, eating disorders, and addictions. We connect survivors to trusted mental health resources. We host retreats where you can breathe again, rest again, and remember who you are outside of your trauma. And through our Battle Angels program, we walk beside you as you move from surviving to thriving. We are here because your story matters. It matters. Your voice matters. Your healing matters. And to every survivor of military sexual trauma, sexual assault, sexual harassment, rape, any kind of sexual assault that can be mentioned here, standing here today, and to every survivor who could not be here, we hear you. We see your courage. We honor your pain. It's real. And we stand with you, not just today, but every day from here and forward. This moment is not just about what happened. It is about what comes next. It is about reclaiming your voice and your dignity and your future. Shield of Sisters is here to remind you that you are not alone. You are not forgotten, and you are not invisible. You are powerful. You are worthy. And you are surrounded by a community that refuses to let you walk this road alone. We hear you, we are here for you, and we believe the things you have said. We stand with you, and we stand with each of those who have yet to speak.
All right, thank you very much, both to Ana Luisa and to Shelley, LULAC and Shield of Sisters, great organizations. We want to give you the opportunity now to hear from one of the individuals who was impacted in this incident, and I'm going to refer to her as Jane Doe. This is Jane Doe, and I'd like for her to come forward and say a few words to you today.
I stand here today, not just as a survivor, but as a woman and mother. Demanding accountability from the very institution that promised to protect us. In October, I walked into the exam room trusting the United States Army with my body, my dignity, and my safety. Instead, I was violated by Dr. Blaine McGraw, a man who used his position, his uniform, and his authority of this institution to exploit the women he was supposed to care for. This is not just about one doctor. This is about a system that repeatedly shows indifference towards women and women's health. The gravity of what happened to us reflects a culture where women's safety is treated like an afterthought, where warning signs are ignored and complaints disappear. This is a system where predators are allowed to hide behind their uniforms under the guise of being a brother in arms, taking an oath to protect and do no harm. All the while, warnings are dismissed, complaints are pushed aside, and us, the victims, are told to follow a process that has never protected us. What happened here at Fort Hood and Tripler in Hawaii was not a mistake. It is a result of apathy. Apathy towards women, towards our health, and now apathy towards our trauma. This apathy has a body count, hundreds, if not thousands of us survivors. It has destroyed our trust in the system that many of our husbands are still serving in. It has destroyed our ability to feel safe seeing medical providers on or off post because we don't know if we are walking into a clinic or a crime scene. My sense of safety, something that everyone deserves, was taken, and I am not alone in this loss. Many of the women affected are walking around carrying the same wound, all asking ourselves, how could this have happened? How many complaints were ignored? How many victims will there still be if nothing changes? We are here today because silence only protects those who harm us. We refuse to accept an institution that treats women's safety as optional.
Right.
We are here because the Army cannot continue to ask women to serve, sacrifice, and trust, all while failing to protect us. We demand change, not only for ourselves, but for our daughters and those that will come after us. We refuse to let the next generation of women grow up knowing that their safety in a medical office depends on luck. We demand a system where our bodies are respected, where accountability is non-negotiable, and transparency is the standard.
Yes.
A system where predators cannot hide behind rank, position, or bureaucracy. To the Army leadership, your actions in the next coming days and months will show the world whether you stand with survivors or you stand with silence. Whether or not you value women's lives and safety, whether you are willing to confront the harm you have allowed, or do you continue to pretend this is an isolated case? We have survived what is done to us, but the institution must now do their part. It is your moment to prove that we matter, that women matter, our daughters matter, our safety and our trauma matters. We want to know that this will never happen again. We are not asking for change, we are demanding it.
Yes.
We deserve better, and so do the women that will come after us.
Right.
We have one more survivor who's going to speak. Jane Doe number 2. Jane Doe number 2, come on. And if you'd like to stand with Jane Doe as she makes her statement, feel free to come on up here and support her and stand with her as she communicates these words.
Good afternoon. I want to share what happened to me so that it never happens to anyone else. Please bear with me if I get emotional. It is an emotional day and time right now. And bear with me because I'll most likely get emotional while speaking. Last year, while I was 24 weeks pregnant, I went to the Women's Center at Darnell Army Hospital for a simple sinus infection. I had already made it clear many times that I was not comfortable with being examined by a male provider due to my history as a survivor of sexual assault and domestic violence. That request was ignored.
Never again.
I was left alone in a room with a male doctor, Dr. McGraw, Dr. Blaine McGraw. I had asked for a chaperone and got told everyone was busy. Everyone was too busy to come and be a chaperone, and that it was fine. Dr. McGraw repeatedly touched me without consent.
Dr. McGraw repeatedly touched me without consent, laughed when I told him to stop. He pushed for unnecessary pelvic exam that I refused 4 times. I went for a sinus infection. During the stomach exam that I consented to, he lifted my clothes higher than needed, attempted to lower my pants after I said no. He grazed both.
Cell block. He's in cell block.
Not enough.
He'll stay in cell.
I said no. He grazed both of my breasts and my vagina. I ended the appointment immediately and left. When I tried to report it, it was dismissed at every turn. Told everyone was too busy, transferred endlessly on the phone, and given no support. None whatsoever. Sorry, I can't read. Even my request for an off-base OB referral was denied. The clinic attempted to schedule me with the same doctor, Dr. McGraw, multiple times afterwards. I refused, of course. I completely lost trust in the hospital and the system that was supposed to protect me. This experience has taken a very heavy toll on my mental health. I became afraid to leave my home and fell into very deep depression. I still deal with PTSD with any male doctors I come in contact with in general. Doesn't matter if it's on my children's appointments, doesn't matter if I'm with my husband. I still have anxiety attacks. With the support from my very supportive, amazing, and loving husband, as well as best friends and family members, I slowly recover after giving birth and moving to Fort Leavenworth, far away from here. But recently seeing the news and social media about similar cases brought everything back, and I contacted CID myself. The Army failed me and continues to fail us all. The command system failed me and continues to. The medical system failed me as a registered nurse. No survivor should have to fight this hard just to be heard. What happened to me is unacceptable. What happened to us all is unacceptable. It should never happen. It should never happen again. Army, this is your time and chance to finally stand up and do the right thing. We need a change, and we need it now. Thank you.
You got it. I know you get sad when people hug you. I got you.
A very special thank you to these 2 women for their courage, for their bravery, and for their willingness to stand up in front of you in such a vulnerable condition and tell their story, because you need to be heard. We believe you, we stand with you, we support you, and everybody in these gates will hear you soon enough. If you call yourself a representative, now is the time to represent. If you call yourself an Army leader, now is the time to lead. If you put on that uniform, you should be concerned and you should demand accountability from every leader you come in contact with, because this does not affect one person. This does not affect one installation. This does not affect one branch. This affects the entire military, the entire community, and it is representative of what needs to happen in government institutions, and I hope you all stand with us in ensuring that change happens. As a parting thought, a parting note, I want to reiterate my call on Congress. I want to reiterate my call on the Army. There should never be another occasion where a woman is left vulnerable in an examination room with an OB-GYN. That needs to change, and it needs to change as a result of this incident here at Fort Hood. This base calls itself the Great Place. It calls itself, it says Fort Hood is the Great Place. Let's make it great for all the right reasons, not the wrong reasons. Thank you very much for showing up here today. God bless you. Hey, I'm not off camera. Thank you all so much for showing up. If you'd like to talk to any of the women who spoke, if you'd like to talk to any of us, let us know. That's something we're doing right now before we leave. I'm going to be here for about 45 more minutes. So if you want to do it, now's the time. Okay. Let me go over here. Hey everyone, thank you so much for showing us. This is important. What we are doing here is important. What Blue Rock is doing is important. It's important. And I don't think it's going to make anybody's job easy.
Hey, how's it going? Do you work today or do you work today?